hommikust kõigile.
Good morning, everyone. It looks like everybody is here, that when we can get started. If you would like to use translation, interpretation, then please let us know. You can get the device at the front here. Now I would like to give the word over to our guests, first of all. They will be talking about who they are, what they do, and why we have invited them here. First, I would like to give word over to Saila Rinne from the European Commission.
I'll just say a few words now, since I'm going to have two other interventions during the day. So I'm Saila Rinne. I work for Directorate General for Communication Networks, Content and Technology in European Commission. I am based in Luxembourg. And our unit is responsible for administrating the automated translation platform building block of the Connecting Europe facility. We will explain all about what it's all about in a few minutes. I'm really glad to see so many of you here today, and I'm glad to be here myself. I will give the floor to Andrejs Vasiljevs, who is member of the European Language Resource Coordination Consortium. And then after the other welcoming speeches, I will talk about the overall framework of this initiative. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Saila. Thank you, Jana. Good morning. It's a really great pleasure to be here to address this distinguished audience about topics that are not so often discussed in such a way about language technology and how that relates to the work that you do in public institutions, administrations, and other institutions. And why these topics, what we will talk about, are important, and what exactly we will do over this day. We believe, and this belief is shared by millions and millions of Europeans, that language is important, that we cannot just live with English in our communication, although a lot of communication is done in English. Because, language is part of our identity. It's deeply embedded in our social and cultural life. And language is a big asset of European cultural richness. At the same time, it creates barriers in communication, barriers in information exchange, and it's vividly displayed in this map. Actually, it's a map of social communication, our Twitter network, and Twitter did such interesting work that they displayed in different colors tweets what are circulating around in Europe based on origination of the tweet. And you can see these borders, linguistic borders visually, what are very close to geographical borders in Europe. That means that communication is somehow enclosed in the silos, linguistic silos, meaning that people strongly prefer to communicate in their language. But this communication, when it is circulated, enclosed in the language community. Translation is very important for this. Translation is also a very big cost position. European institutions, European Commission, Parliament, Court of Justice, and other institutions spend quite a huge money to provide translation for all EU languages. It's more than €1 billion every year spent on translation. So this is a big challenge. And this is important also and particularly for smaller language communities. And I'm glad to see so many of you coming to this workshop, and such workshops are organizing all around Europe, and we see a strong interest, in particular in smaller language countries. Smaller, I mean, small in terms of speakers, not in terms of linguistic value of the language and language richness. Do not confuse this. That for smaller languages it's particularly important. Actually, some years ago I had the chance to ask a question to the famous American futurologist Alvin Toffler, inventor of the third wave society notion, who predicted the information revolution back in 1970s. What will be the fate of smaller languages in the future, in this 21st century? Will they survive in the global communication with a strong dominance of large languages, and particularly English? And his response was quite clear, that the fate of smaller languages depend on the speed of technological developments. And if language technologies will develop faster than the rate of the diminishment due to the force of larger languages, then that will really enable multilinguality in the global world, and smaller languages will be able to be used in peer-to-peer to larger ones. So language technologies are actually the only viable solution how we can ensure cross-border instant communication and translation in the 21st century. Then demand is growing potentially for translations. And actually, it's maybe from the pessimistic perspective, but probably some of you know this notion of second Gutenberg effect, meaning that the Gutenberg invented back in end of 15th century printed press, and those languages who were used in printing, and books and other publications were printed in those languages. Those languages, most of them used until today. But there were many more languages at Gutenberg's time that are not used now, because they were not widely used in the modern technologies of that time. They are as important introduce our languages in language technologies as it was in Gutenberg's time for the printing press. And it's also is stressed and described in details in analytical work done all across Europe. Multilingual Europe Technology Alliance coordinated work of more than 200 experts across Europe in all European countries to analyze preparedness, readiness of European languages for the challenges of digital age. And I think very interesting and novel work what resulted in 30 books published by Springer, what are also available for free in digital form at this link. This analytical work figured out that this challenge is important for actually majority of EU languages. We have 24 official languages, plus if you take into account Icelandic or Norwegian as cooperating countries, 26 languages spoken, and most of them do not enjoy such 100 million population as bigger languages like English and French. So the same problems or the same needs are across the Europe. And now this was like to show you the backgrounds and importance of this work, and now let's go to the essence of this workshop. As I said previously, technologies like machine translation are very important to cross these linguistic borders, and European Commission is working in this direction for many years, and in last several years this work of the Commission resulted in the machine translation system, call it MTATC, that is actually provided for the use for more than 2,000 translators at the Translation Directorate of Commission. And this shows, and for many languages, the application of machine translation already bring major benefits in terms of faster and cheaper translations, meaning that translators could be more productive, being able to translate larger volumes in a shorter time with the help of machine translation, but for some types of text can provide translation quality that is usable with after post-editing efforts, what we will talk about a bit more later today. But these current techniques, current technologies are by far not good enough, not reached the level that would fully satisfy the broad variety of needs in public translation. And this is why European Commission has launched a major initiative to develop automated translation service as a part of European digital service infrastructures. It's a bit Brussels jargon, I'm sorry for that, but everything should be named, as you know, and this term CEF stands for Connecting Europe Facilities. These are European infrastructures in telecommunication and transport and other areas. But among these infrastructures are digital services, and translation, automated translation, is recognized for the first time as among the essential key services to be provided for Europeans, particularly for public institutions, administrations, both Central European institutions and national public administrations. And this MTATC system is part of this work, and it's being improved all the time, and it's already available and provided for free for public administrations. And we will tell you about later today about this in more details. You already can access and try it, and if you see that it fits your needs, to use it in your everyday work. But for a number of languages, the quality is not as good as for, I would say, linguistically not so complex languages as English and Spanish, where are not so many variations of word forms. And including the Baltic languages of Baltic countries, Estonian, texts what are translated from one language to another language is the basis from which algorithms of these machine translation systems are able to learn how to translate better. Algorithms of machine translation actually are informed by human translations, and they can improve by getting more material to learn from. And this and again, we will tell a bit more about this, how does it work later today. I just introduced some of the topics what we will talk about. But the essential message is that language data translations are very important to improve machine translation. And in public institutions, in public sector, there's a lot of data, but sometimes it's not recognized as useful data for technologies. These are just documents or translation memories. But it's not just documents. This could also be turned into a valuable resource for training and improving machine translation, what you can later use in improved version in your work. And again, how to coordinate this work to facilitate identification of these translated materials across EU member states, and to collect those and to process those and actually to use those to improve machine translation. For this purpose, this European Language Resource Coordination activity or project is started across all Europe in every EU member country plus Norway and Iceland to establish this language resource coordination mechanism to involve all the member states in this process, to identify valuable resources, to collect them, to process them, so that machine translation could be significantly improved with your help, and so that these technologies could be provided for your everyday work, and also applied in different services, not only for human translations, but also for digital services. Just one example, you probably know Europeana, big European digital library collecting cultural heritage from all across Europe. But these cultural records are in many different languages. How to find them, how to use them if you want to learn what's going on, like in Bulgaria, what heritage is in museum in Bulgaria. You can, again, will be able to use machine translation to get access to this data. This is just one example, but there are many other examples. But with some of them we will talk later today. So, why I am here and some of other colleagues, it's because I represent language technology company Tilde, and we are happy to be selected as a consortium partner in a consortium what enables, what is responsible for this European language resource coordination activity. And these consortium members are DFKI, is the Center of Artificial Intelligence in Germany. It's a European Language Data Agency, what is like executive part of European Language Resource Association. It's a research center in Greece, ILSP, what researches and develops multilingual technologies, and also industry association, TAUS, Translation Automation User Society, which is a subcontractor in this consortium of 4 main partners. And so a bit more about Tilde. Tilde is a leading European developer of language technologies and provider of language services. And we are deeply rooted in Baltic countries with offices here in Tallinn, in Riga and Vilnius. And we have a tight cooperation with researchers and also other industry players across Europe to develop next generation language technologies with particular focus on complex languages that are spoken for not so many people, and there are not so many data available, how to get better technologies for these languages. And our technologies and tools are used by public institutions in government sector, by multinational companies, like Microsoft for Bing Translator, for example, use some of our technologies, and also by many individuals and companies in Baltics and across Europe. And how in developing these technologies, it's important to cooperate, and we are because like breakthrough innovations can come if if you get the critical mass of knowledge and resources and talent. And so we are happy to coordinate and partner in several large-scale European R&D and innovation projects, resulting in systems like Eurotermbank, the terminology resource that connects different terminology bases, including IATE, terminology base of European institutions, or Let's MT Technologies. This is like machine translation factory, enabling adaptation of machine translation to different particular fields and domains. So, and we will be happy to share our tools and experience with you to help you get the most out of your data and your resources. So what are the main activities what are being organized and done in this coordination action? Those are, first of all, workshops organized here in Tallinn as well as in other countries, all other countries in Europe, plus Norway and Iceland. And the purpose of this workshop is to inform, to tell you about these activities, to make you aware about the value of the data that you have, and to encourage you to share, to contribute with your data for better language technologies. Then every year the larger conference is organized, and the first conference took place in Riga last year during Riga summit of multilingual digital single market, and the next conference will take place second half of this year, and we will also inform you as soon as the location and the dates of the conference will be finalized. Then you are invited and encouraged to attend this event gathering technology developers, European Commission officials, and national representatives from all across Europe. And our task is to promote best practices of the use of translation technologies, machine technologies, and tools that are available, and in particular practice what is in use of machine translation in Baltic countries. And some of these examples we will also highlight today at this workshop. And the technical help desk is provided where you can call or write to, and that will help you to address your technical or also legal questions. Legal aspects are very important, and sometimes they are scary, but there actually are answers how to solve some of these seemingly complex, but in reality, in many cases, not so difficult legal issues related to sharing of your documents and data for technology developments, and actual practical work in identification and collection of language resources. And you can learn a bit more and to see presentations of the first conference in Riga last year at this website, Riga Summit 2015 EU, or you can go and find that information also on this website, lrcoordination.eu, that is dedicated website for this coordination action. And this is like a general outline of what we will talk about today. And so the main objectives is to tell you about value and importance of data that you have, to encourage you, to invite you to involve in this coordination action, to help to solve legal and technical aspects that are related to this, actually, and then to ensure that the valuable data what are in your institutions and institutions in other countries are shared, not only with European Commission, but what is very important with national institutions, and in here Estonian Language Resource Center is doing excellent work in coordinating and promoting work on language resources, and which data will be provided to this center and also to other institutions that may be interested on this as well. And so this will help to develop Estonian language to be stronger and prepared for the challenges of the digital age. So, yeah, supporting your language is supporting Europe, and supporting Europe is supporting our languages. So with this motto, I would like to conclude, and also to say many thanks to our partners in organization of this workshop, European Commission Representation Office, DG Connect, it's a directorate in European Commission that coordinates this activity, and Language Resource Center in Tartu. And thank you. Have a good and efficient day today.
Oma avasõnad ütleb nüüd.
I will also, Kadri Vider, the head of the Estonian Language Resource, give her introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. I've been talking about the Estonian language technology and the language resources to different auditoriums and different audiences, but I haven't had a chance to meet you just yet. This is why it's really pleasant to also be able to see you today. And in my presentation today, I will talk about what I have mostly dealt with in my world, and it's Estonia in the world of digital languages. And we will get to this presentation soon. And as the final measure for the introduction, I would like to extend my gratitude for you being here from the side of the European Commission's representation in Estonia. I'm Jana and I'm happy that so many of you made it here today despite the flu season really having kicked off. Before starting working in Tallinn, I used to be a translator in Brussels at the European Commission. And I have to say that the machine translation measures that were available to us, I didn't really use those. I don't want to shoot torpedoes at the entire event here, but I have to say that the results we got back in Estonian weren't really that good. It often slowed me down rather than speeding the process up. And I'm happy that the Commission has decided to start developing this machine translation technology, because I saw that it actually is quite a big help for many translators, well, whose language combinations also support it more. They won a lot in time. They had the chance to translate much more in the same time than compared to us, who we didn't use machine translation. And I'm happy that it's being developed further and developed also for other languages. I think it gives equal opportunities not only for all speakers of European languages, but also for the translators that have to deal with all these different languages and translate from these different languages. Of course, machine translation will never completely replace human translation, but a high quality machine translation will be able to help with the ever-growing demand for translations. And I'm absolutely eager to hear all the presentations today. I want to see the potential and potential uses of machine translation. Don't be too skeptical. But before we will move on to the first presentation of today, a couple of practical details also to discuss. The event today will be recorded on video, and it will also be put on online on the website that you just saw the address for. But don't worry about asking questions. Don't leave any question or comment added, because the website will mostly still feature the presentations. So if you have any questions or comments, go for it. You all got agendas for today. That gives a pretty accurate overview of what we're going to do today. We have a couple of presentations, then a little discussion, then we have a break to catch some fresh air. And in addition, in the folder there are 2 forms that we ask you to please fill out and leave with us. And if you wish, you can also get a nice